Yo, let me tell y'all about it. Welcome to the Pot and Politics Podcast. I'm your host, Sean G's Waters. To the right of me, I have my production manager, Sean Waters II. To the right of him, I have my man, Christian. To the left of him is Jennifer. And then to the left of him is Rocky. So we here. Let me take care of the business first. Episode 2 of the Pot and Politics Podcast is sponsored by Embracing Fire Designs out of Harrisonburg, Virginia. Check Kiki out and check out what she do. She nice with it. All right, so how's everybody doing today?
Doing great.
I'm really excited. Feel really pumped up with the presidential, vice presidential announcement of Waltz. I think his energy and excitement is just what we need on the ticket. So what do you all think?
Definitely a big difference between him and JD Vance because JD Vance he ain't it.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything that comes out of his mouth is crazy.
Right?
But
I like the dude personally when they did the what was it, the thing in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Who's the dude that was introducing him?
Shapiro. That speech was
that
really,
guy.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there wondering like why ain't he the dude on the ticket?
that's who I thought.
He was one of the last.
Yeah.
He goes hard. He goes in the paint though. That guy goes hard on the podium.
Oh
And I think they
yeah.
were a little scared of what he might say and do because he is fiery.
Nice.
I'm real happy with the pick. I'm excited. I didn't really know who he was until they said. And I mean, he's got that dad energy.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that give you a $20 bill to kind of help you get by, like the grandpa does, slip you a 20 vibe.
Right.
He's a really good dude. I like his history in the military. I like his history with being a dad. I like his it just seems like it's a good solid
And he's
pick.
a teacher. Like being a teacher, I think in these times when
Exactly.
the teaching profession has become
It's being
so
attacked.
political and so under attack and so underfunded and all of that. Like
It's good.
I feel like that is really positive for our country. That
And a coach.
Plus he's got, what, 25
the
years?
coach. I mean,
Right.
25 years military as well.
20,
I mean, you
24,
can't. Yeah,
24
that,
shit.
That
Yeah.
means something. He's going to care about
Fucking right.
veterans. He's going to care about. So the attack on that, I want to definitely bring this up with the military thing because one of our members here is a veteran, and Rocky.
Matter of fact, thank you for your mom.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yo,
So yeah.
And I thought of you this week as they're attacking this man
Mhm.
because they said he dropped out so he wouldn't have to go to Iraq, but which really what he did is he saw that was an unjust war and that maybe we shouldn't go, and he was really looking out for his fellow. They said he was turning his back on him. Really, he was looking out for him. And, he got very heavily in politics just to help the military at first and just look out for his brothers and sisters. So, it's to see one military guy attack another one is pretty, it just shows JD Vance. It's just in every way.
They pulled up the boy that was in his company, though, who was it, CNN or one of them, and interviewed him and was like,
Said,
that was just the way that shit, they never got the orders.
We didn't get the orders.
Like how it played the fuck out.
Yeah. And I think he had already put in his separation.
Yeah, he did.
He
did.
And 25 years, it's maybe time to retire. And
exactly. Do something else with your life. And you got JD Vance, and he was trying to act like he's this hardcore war dog, and you were public relations. Like, how you going to talk about a man not sending rounds down ranks when the heaviest thing you picked up was a goddamn camera?
Yeah,
Right.
like
So-
and let's
You're responsible for toys for tots, not bullets and shots. That's not your.
And
that's
logistics
not
are
your thing.
important. It's what makes the military wheel turn.
Exactly.
You have the lowest.
I like that.
There's people that sweep floors in the military, and everyone's important. But
Right.
you nailed it.
Right.
How it goes with that whole speck in a man's eye where you got a plant growing.
Exactly.
Or it's like, man, come on, dude.
You can't really talk about a man that actually did 20 plus years and retired and saying that he turned his back on his troops. Like it's not how.
It's a
I'm
despicable.
sorry, but
It's despicable.
On CNN or MSNBC, one of these places, I'm listening to it in the radio in the car, and he had served with Waltz, and he says all of those are lies.
that guy.
Trump is lying, and I just want to set the record straight. I served with a guy. That is not how it happened. He's an honorable dude. He retired, and then we got our orders to go. Like, Trump is lying. But I'm still going to vote for Trump, and I'm going to donate to Trump, and I'm going to work hard to make sure that Waltz doesn't get elected. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
How do you go
I
on
missed that part.
television
I missed
and,
that whole part.
back up the guy and say he was honorable, I served with him, But I'm still gonna go with the guy who lied about the guy that I know served honorably. Like, what kind of like,
Money and power.
especially when Donald Trump,
you know?
when Donald Trump was a draft dodger. I mean, you
What, 5
Well,
times,
you
right?
hill Spurs, and you don't know which hill you had the Spurs in, and
Right.
you're not like, come on now. You if you're going to argue about somebody's military service, one, you have had to have been in the military,
Amen.
and two, if you were in the military, you had to have done more than the man that you're talking about.
The hypocrisy is just
Right.
Exactly.
It doesn't.
I mean, that's the Republican Party altogether.
Right.
They become the party of punchlines and not the party of politics. Like
Absolutely.
it's completely unhinged.
Right.
Anything you hear, I mean, anything you watch a Republican say, if they parrot something from Donald Trump, I'm just like, none of this shit is true. You're just saying what you heard. Exactly.
Great politics. It's
Exactly.
Well, we also have to say the importance of Walls coining the phrase "weird."
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Weird.
that was another good reason to pick him, is that he finally was able to label the labeler.
Right.
Yeah.
The man.
Yeah,
Trump
and that was
hates it.
pretty.
And
That was
Trump
pretty.
hates it. Did
And
you see
hates
Trump
it
said
so
like
bad.
he's calling J.D. Vance weird. He's not calling me weird.
And see, yeah.
No, he's saying all
No,
y'all.
And see,
Yeah.
he hates it, but behind closed doors, he's like, "Man, that was a killer."
Uh-huh.
Because that's his whole game, is labeling and doing the whole marketing. Well, they nailed it with the weird thing.
Yeah.
And they are weird, and he is weird,
Right.
and Trump is super weird.
Right.
I mean,
you got to be weird to say that you almost went down in a plane crash, in a helicopter crash, with a guy who was never on a helicopter with you.
I knew
You
Willie
saw
Brown.
another guy, and the guy that you actually was on a helicopter with said the shit never happened. Now, that's one thing, thinking that you was about to go down in a helicopter, but how do you want to confuse a black man and a white man? Like,
he knew Willie Brown well.
you knew that well, but you didn't know his ass.
As the helicopter was going down, he told me all this bad stuff about Kamala.
Which, I mean,
Now it's not even Kamala, it's Kamala.
and it's the same dude who said, like, she just turned black.
Right.
Like, the fuck he mean? Like,
Right.
like I say, I always bring this shit up, but this is,
Yeah.
my thing with her. When she was with Montel, she was blacker than the motherfucker that night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
tell you what, at Howard University, I feel like maybe she felt
She's
the blackness.
definitely blacker than the motherfucker at Howard. Damn right.
Yeah, I don't
You
know
know,
about
and shout out to our Indian people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I fucks with the Indians, but... Yeah,
Dude,
that's
I'm gonna
crazy.
tell you one thing. As a white guy, the nerve of that motherfucker.
Right.
I feel like that's the kind of shit get your ass kicked.
Right.
I'm gonna say it out loud.
Quick.
That's why he's afraid to debate her, because he
Come
knows
on,
he's
man.
gonna slip and say something.
He gonna say something terrible.
And people are just gonna, like, the
Everyone
camera
knows he
guy,
says
like,
it in
somebody is gonna just be like,
Let me say this, all right? Because I rarely make it through a whole Trump speech. Just because, I got a low tolerance for bullshit. Y'all got to feel me. I got a low tolerance for bullshit. And like I say, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. You know what I'm saying? I'm an activist. But the shit that this motherfucker... I've always been more Malcolm X than Martin Luther King, right?
Yeah.
Me too.
But the fact that this motherfucker had the nerve to bring Martin Luther King up, I don't give a shit if he's talking about they use the same toilet paper.
Right.
Like, you are the scum of the earth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You are the exact opposite of what Dr. King represented.
Right.
And he compared himself to liking? Like, yo, it take a brave motherfucker to do that with a straight face, dude.
What's next? Say you're more of a man because you survived the bullet and he didn't. That's what I'm waiting to come next.
Right.
I'm chosen.
Right.
He'll probably
the cult believes that.
That's not too far.
But yeah, say you have more numbers than that man pulled for and couldn't even say the I have a dream speech. He said, for the speech he gave, the thing he did. And I was like, I have a dream speech?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
My kids are like, oh my God.
And I mean, his whole thing is he was stuck on his crowd being bigger than Martin Luther King's crowd, which is a lie because Trump's crowd was 53,000 people. Martin Luther King's crowd was 250,000.
It was his inauguration speech is what he was talking about.
It doesn't
because
matter.
I went to the Women's March the next day.
Right.
And you want to see numbers.
Yeah.
That's why he got mad. It's because we were 80 plus thousand strong. I've been to a lot of things in D.C. I ain't never seen nothing like that.
Yeah, that was wild.
Well, I can say this much. The thing about him talking about at the Harrisburg Farm Show, he lied his ass off because for the people that he said was in there, the fucking the farm show don't even hold half that many people.
Right.
Like that's in
right,
the city
right.
where
Oh, no.
all my family is from. Like
Right.
where my father grew up, you could throw a rock and hit the farm shop.
It's been about numbers since day one,
Right.
since
It's been
that
about-
inauguration, since they put out that
False
picture,
numbers.
that
Yep.
overhead picture of all that empty field.
He must have seen some ghosts. or
He
something
said
that he swears
yesterday
on.
he's got 75% of the electorate is for him. 75%. That's what he thinks.
But
I was like, if I
so
thought that,
have you
dude, I'd be
seen
getting
the
my damn
rallies, though,
passport right
that
now.
Kamala's having, though?
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
her rallies are massive.
Well, it
I
was
mean-
25,000 yesterday, and I mean just every state, not
Yeah,
even.
yeah.
I mean, it was
Mm.
Montana,
Yeah,
packed,
yeah.
Georgia, packed.
I mean, I feel like we could maybe pull this off.
It's bigger than the Obama energy. When the Obama came, my wife and I went to Michelle's rallies. We went to his rally in
Uh-huh.
Harrisonburg.
Me
I
too.
was at the JMU rally.
My son,
I was in the third satellite
Yeah.
of the JMU.
my
Oh,
firstborn
way
was
at
a
the
little
top.
baby. We carried him right in, and we actually got chosen as a family to stand behind Michelle at UVA and be like
Oh
one
my
of the families
God,
behind her.
That's
We were so
badass.
excited. It was awesome.
Oh, that's the
That's
key.
badass.
The
Yeah.
next
Be a little
thing,
family.
I gotta
dude.
take a baby.
Yeah,
I
that
gotta
was
be like,
it.
Yo, who's got a
Dude,
baby?
he had
I can
curly
take
blonde
this.
hair. It was just
Oh,
perfect.
yeah.
They saw him. They were like, "You guys." We were like, "Oh, get down."
It's
We
genius.
were high as shit. It was great. And Michelle, we still love them so much.
For sure.
And that energy was so fun, and it's just what we needed when we needed it. I don't know if you remember how horrible it was under Bush
Yeah.
for a lot of us.
remember
This
writing.
has more energy than
yeah.
that, dude. It feels better than that. You know what I'm saying?
It
It's
does.
like
That's because we just went through 4 years of bullshit and then 4 years of I don't know what the hell was
scary
going on.
shit. It was
Yeah.
like, not just bullshit, scary. Like
Yeah.
wondering what's really going to happen.
I mean,
Right,
you got to realize we're coming out of a situation of where most of us have lost half of our damn friends
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we learned that they thought a different way than we thought they
And
thought
losing them
because
daily.
somebody that, you know what I'm saying, pushed them to think.
Sure.
It made them feel comfortable to say the shit that they've
Yeah,
always
yeah.
been thinking. And now, you know what I'm saying, can we ever get back to everybody being the way it used to
I
be?
mean,
I don't know.
fuck no. Let's be
it ain't
honest
going
about
to
it.
be, man.
Right.
Because the reason and this is where I sit on the fence with it too, because you see everybody saying, don't, let politics split your friends up from who you was. But here's the thing
I
though.
don't agree with that.
That's where it's kind of salty. Because how can you really be my friend, right? And you know that this motherfucker, and I ain't talking about nobody in particular, but here's where we have a difference. And I ain't saying because Jack like taxes on this and I want him because he likes
Right.
weed. I'm
Right.
talking about he might
Right.
be a blatant rapist, racist. You know what I'm saying? All of these different things or isms that you could add to these things. So, and for you to just be able to overlook that,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, are you really my friend?
That's exactly. Oh.
Yeah, because when it comes down to it, our politics are personal. It affects us personally.
Bingo.
And if that person is not riding for you, then no, you probably can't be. I mean,
Here's the argument I get in with my husband all the time. I don't want to hang out with people who didn't vote for me.
I'm not mad at you for that. I'm fucking not mad at you for that.
I'm not mad at
Because
you for
if,
that.
if
Like, I'm sorry. Like, and it's not because it's necessarily my name, but it goes to the same thing. Like, if you're voting in opposition to what I believe in,
you're not my
then you're
friend, I
not
don't
my
want to
friend.
hang
Like,
with
we
you.
don't have anything in common.
You ran on core values.
Right.
And
I don't-
honestly,
and I don't
if
wanna
they
hang
were
out
the
with
type of
people-
person to say, "Hey, I didn't vote for you," then it's already in.
And I don't want to hang out
They
with people
already
that
trying
we
to
have,
let
like,
you
at
know.
our core, we are that different.
We're that.
Because if you are racist, homophobic, transphobic, I don't want to hang out with you.
We're not friends.
Right, like I carry this mug around with me that says abortion and pride because this is how I avoid people that don't agree with me. People who don't like this won't come up and talk to me if I drink out of this.
Man, I had
That's
on.
And I can't I just don't want to waste my time and energy with people who are so far into the MAGA and I don't think there's anything saving them. And it's not I just don't have the energy to save people from their own
That's great. And can I add that?
conspiracy and their own brainwashing and
I'm
you
the
know.
same. I'm the same with you, and my my people that surround me are the same. But I want to just add that I wasn't like that with Republicans
Right.
my whole life.
Yeah.
I had family members that
Yep.
were Bush, eat up with Bush, and I could still as we'd argue about that
Right,
war
yeah.
and we'd fight, and I did
Right.
lose a lot of friends during
Right.
that. That was a bad example. But what I'm saying is that it wasn't so divided.
Right.
Trump came along and made it to now where it is so in the corner, and they have so own
Side.
ugliness
Uh-huh.
of hate
Yeah.
and the ugliness of racism and the ugliness of just trying to be up in everyone's lives and control.
Yeah.
And stealing the election. It's just endless shit that he did. That now, let's just not do this.
Right.
Let me tell you right away that I am the parent of a trans child, and that I walk this earth for these children, and that
if
you
you
can take your
that,
MAGA shit, and if you want to meet, we will do with it however you want. But
exactly.
I'm here to do it.
Exactly.
And they think they're scary. Parents are scared.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Damn
Get
straight.
the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Try messing with my kid.
I'm not fighting for your bullshit flag. I'm not fighting for your statue in Charlottesville. I'm fighting for the thing that I created that I love with all my existence.
Exactly.
And whatever you want to do, dumbasses, for this cult bullshit, we can do it.
Right.
And that's not how a liberal talks. But this is where we're at.
Right. Right.
And they need to know that there are some liberals. I'm a dirt road Democrat, like I said in the first episode. And, I grew up a lot of the same ways you did. Mm-hmm. And you're threatening the wrong motherfuckers. Right. And you know that. Right. They're your neighbors. They're your neighbors. You know who we are.
Right. Right.
And it comes down to the whole gun control thing. I am 2A. I want serious gun control. I need to know my child's going to go to a safe school. Yeah. I don't need mental getting guns. Yeah. I think that not everyone needs one because we have the rights. I think weapons of war are definitely where we need to make a divide. I'm a hunter. I just need to shoot a deer with an AR-15. Right. Yeah. I think that society has called for these limitations, but there's where I draw the divide. As an ally of African Americans, I don't want them to give up one single gun right until we get it under control, because there is an army force building behind closed doors right now against them. Yes.
And see, and
it's
I
all
feel
built on fear and race. And until they get those guys under control and the militias under control, then I would actively say that my African American brothers and sisters need to keep themselves as armed as possible.
Yeah. Well, I look at it like this, and I've got heavy artillery. If they got it, I need to have it.
You need to have it.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
You know
it ain't even until it's even, and right now it ain't.
Like, don't tell me I don't need extended clips. Like, y'all got them. You know what I mean? Don't.
Yeah.
I want some grenades too. I ain't got none of those. I'd love to have some.
To, I guess, further that point. When it comes to us having guns, like, I feel like for us, if we walk around open carry and walk into a grocery
it's
store,
a different story.
Everybody's on alert. There's a black guy in a gun with a black guy in the store with a gun. Exactly. Exactly. I would have every manager in that store following my ass, trying to figure out why I was there. And you can have daggone Joe Dirt with the damn camouflage.
Oh, we got daggone
380.
Damn right.
And he just walking around like it's
AR-15, literally standing in front of the garbage.
Yeah, nobody thought anything
just
about
because he can.
Nobody thought anything about a white dude running through a fucking field with a gun, climbing up on top of a fucking building, laying down. He's just here. Right. If that shit is so normal for you, it doesn't raise a red flag that the dude is pointing the goddamn gun at the former president of the United States. A black dude would not have got within 2 cities of that motherfucking place with an AR-15.
Building. As soon as he'd walk around the first side of that building, them rednecks would have been like, well, I mean, they really?
He wouldn't even have
honestly, they yelled out that guy. It just seems that's all so weird. But yeah, it is a gun problem. I understand. I do understand this country was built on guns, that this country was founded on it, and that to take them back and get rid of it is not ever going to happen.
Well, the mental health person in me has to say, all of these shooters, they all had these red flags, right? Before the shooter, before they committed their massacres, they all had red flags that somebody ignored
and reached out for help in a lot of times.
Yeah, they had like journal entries, all this stuff,
endless warnings.
So why is it so hard for parents when they see their kid is struggling? Why is it so hard for teachers? Why is it so hard for adults to access the help for these kids to prevent these things?
I can tell you this. In the black community, that shit is still swept under the rug.
You don't go to therapy.
Yeah, nobody wants to admit it. Now, I don't think we got a whole bunch of black kids running around shooting up shit like that. But like in this situation, but I'm quite sure it's probably the same thing. Like, nobody wants to say my baby is losing his mom.
Exactly.
There's a stigma.
You know what I'm saying? You want to think, all right, I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to fix him myself. Nobody ever finds out about it. He'll be okay. He'll live his
That's
life.
true.
And that's a
You know
racial
what I'm
pressure too. That comes back from where the pressures of oppression make people act out, and the reason you're not oppressed, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
So I get it. I know as a parent myself,
Whole
as son,
country house.
I
White
got a
house.
daughter and I have sons. It'd be very hard for me to pick up a phone and call the police. That's one thing, but
Sure.
to call people that I know. If I call the police on my son because he's fucking up, right? I know that he'll go to bond. I can go get him. His shit'll be straight. Maybe I just need to reel that ass in. Now, I would never do that, but I can do that. But you call the mental people and they come and get your kid, you can't do shit about that. You just gotta lay back and let that play out.
Yeah.
And I know as a parent, it
30-day
would
hold
be
or
very
something like
hard
that.
for
It's,
me
2-week
to put
hold.
my child in that situation,
Mhm.
even if I knew my child needed that situation.
Mhm.
I can be real and say that.
Yeah.
It'd
Yeah,
be hard to
it's-
do. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it because I love my kid, but it would be very
So
hard
then-
to do that.
It's
So
very
then
real
we're
for
talking
everyone.
mental
dude.
health
It's very real.
reform. So then we're talking mental health reform, and bringing it back to the politics of it all is advocating for that for your people that are running for office. Is the health. I hear from people all the time of how it's to therapy just to see a therapist, and we're trying to prevent the emergencies, so you can't even get your kid help for when it's an emergency situation. So, to bring it back to the politics of it all is we've got to be thinking of kids' mental health and adult mental health when we're out voting,
Yes, and family health,
so-
because that affects guns, that
who's-
affects everything.
right.
Everything.
So we still need to have a conversation about gun reform and bringing that down in our country, bringing that temperature down. But we're such an unhealthy society in a lot of ways that I think we could target it in a lot of different ways.
I think it's a fabulous idea to bring maybe not under the umbrella of gun control the symptoms, and then we're not yelling gun control at people who just as soon as they hear that it's like closed ears.
Right.
But
And when they also believe that there needs to be sensible laws, when if you have a man-to-man, it's so funny, a one-to-one man conversation
Yeah.
is a lot different than a man yelling out on the internet.
For
No
sure.
doubt.
Their ideals change.
But the thing is we all say gun control, this, that, and the third. What exactly would gun control look like? I mean, because it's either you limit everybody to a rifle that you can hunt with that holds a maximum of 3 rounds, and go back to 6-shot revolvers and bring in confiscate all the weapons of war.
That
Like,
don't
there's
happen.
no reason
That just
why
doesn't
you
happen.
need an AR-15 to hunt anything. Like,
No.
you're not hunting anything
No.
with that.
Mm-mm.
And you're not really going to say that you're going to protect your house with it, because the first shot you take is going through every damn wall in your house
Now
until it hits a
they're
stud.
fun to shoot.
Yeah, they're
I'll
definitely
give 'em
fun.
that.
You know what I'm saying? They're definitely fun. If you want to have fun, go get your ass a BB gun.
Well, what I've heard proposed is to have shooting range areas where you
Sure.
keep your AR there and you go check it out and shoot targets.
And that's
for the day,
exactly what we
and
do
then
in the
check it
military.
back
Like,
in.
you don't have your M16 on you ever. Like, ever. Your M16 is kept in the armory. The only time you touch that motherfucker is when you're going to the range or you're going to the field.
So maybe armory is the answer. So people,
Yeah,
if you own one, you just have to keep it at
You
a
got
place where you
to
use it.
exactly. And if you get caught without your armory card, that's your
You
ass.
get your
You got
ass.
your rifle. So you need to turn. If you're not actively using, 3-day pass is all you got.
Man, that sounds like a good system right there.
Right.
Yeah,
Maybe that
3-day
would work.
pass, all you
Well,
got.
the Brady Bill worked. You don't see the
Right.
Tech 9.
Right.
You see a few
Yeah.
old
Right.
Tech 9s
Right.
on the street,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't, but I know there is some Tech 9s on the street, I'm sure. But yeah, and Biden did that, by the way.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
we're going to give him some credit for the Brady Bill.
Yeah.
That Columbine shit happened, and they
Yeah.
used Tech 9s, and that was the end of that.
Yeah.
And that was as popular as the AR. You know, it was in how many songs have you heard them say?
Right.
Yeah.
Tech 9s,
I have a rapper named Tech 9. Yeah, so that gun, man, it's that's a great, that's how to do it, is to talk, and that is a great way. I think that maybe you could start to address that issue.
One thing I would really love to see in our area is the gun buyback programs.
Yeah, those are
Roanoke
good.
has a really good one.
Just did it. I think,
Yeah,
actually.
they did. Roanoke just had theirs where, you get free, like $250 in free groceries or, whatever, like a grocery card or something. So for people who are, looking to a way to get, rid of some guns, I really like that kind of option for people who, could make some money off. Sell their guns in a way that's
And I mean, I'm assuming that I'm the only person that's ever lived in Japan here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Living on Okinawa, being stationed on Okinawa, and not having to worry about gun violence is something that anybody who's never been there, you would not be able to fathom it. Like first of all, Okinawans are peaceful people anyway, so you don't really have to worry about much going on. But the crime there is, the worst crime they have is drinking and driving. Like, seriously. You don't have to worry about going to the ATM, somebody walking up behind you, putting a pistol in your back, losing your money. You can go to an ATM, let your money come out, walk away, come back, your money's still going to be there. They're not going to steal from you. Here, good luck.
I bet you their poverty levels are a lot different than ours.
Yeah.
Not so many people grinding.
And they take care, off topic, but they take care of their old folks. We put our elderly in nursing homes and forget about them.
Mm-hmm.
Okinawans aren't like that.
No, they honor their elders.
Exactly. They put them in. When I was there, I was mind blown. 2 ladies there still walking around. One was 114 and the other one was 109. And I was like, you wouldn't find that in America because the stress level's too high.
Right. Well, and our diet and everything.
All right, so today we are smoking on the holiday special that comes from Squid Ponics. Now, it was very, very sticky, dense, I think. Definitely tastes great. Punch super duper hard. Super duper hard. Me personally, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. And that was my take on it. Now I'm gonna let the explanation of what it really is happen. So, holiday special, real good weed, in my opinion.
Okay, the grower sent us some information. This is Christian, hi from Mad Family Farm, and he sent us some information on this strain. It is Exotic Genetics is the breeder. It's called Holiday Special, like Sean said. The mother is Cake Mix, and the father, Reversal, would be Next Level. Those are the 2 strains that make this up. It's a 60-40 indica, grown from feminized seeds. He also said how he grew it. It was grown in cocoa, synganic feeding, and the meaning of that is it starts off organically with a 7-week vegetation, and then they push synthetic nutrients through the flowering, and it precisely dials it in, targeting the plant structure, bud stacking, and desired ppms necessary to produce a quality finish. That's quoted from the text. It's really good. It's energetic. The smell is incredible. It's fruity, pungent. I love fruity strains, so it really caught my nose. It's up. It's not so couch locked, but it's super stony.
Yeah, super stony.
It's
That's
right in
the
my
word
head.
for it right there.
I'm high. I'm like
That's the
I'm like
word.
teenager high, a little glassy eyed feeling, and a little hungry. You got a little munchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think 9 out of 10, easy. I've had the privilege of trying this grower's bud before. A strain that he won a local grower stuck with, and he definitely knows what he's doing, and he's gotten. I mean, you wouldn't think he could get better, but he has gotten better. He's honing in. I like it.
I think it is
9 out of 10, easy.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, a perfect name for it.
Yeah.
I definitely could not smoke this bud every day, and get shit accomplished. Every night, and I'm going to bed. But
creative energy.
Yeah, it's definitely perfect.
Talky.
It's definitely perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, talky and stony as shit.
Yeah.
So that's basically 18 out of 20 today. So congratulations, Squid Ponics.
Yeah, congratulations.
Definitely great bud. And on that note, we'll see who we got next week.
part of the Obama Biden energy and went to a lot of the rallies and stuff, and I felt that energy, and I felt the change that came real change that did come when we elected him president.
Mhm.
And I noticed, and I think everyone noticed, that America did enter a post-racial time. It brought a unity. Maybe it didn't last long. Maybe it didn't exist in all the nooks and crannies of America, but I think as a whole, we definitely made a huge step in our post-racial America. And everyone was so proud of it. I'm still very proud of that movement, and I'm very proud of that presidency. I wonder that now, having the last 4 to 6 years been so much run on labeling each other and putting each other in corners and labeling our politicians, and everything has to come with where you're from or what you stand for. I wonder if after, which hopefully we'll elect Kamala as our new president, I wonder if that would introduce a new post-label America where we don't necessarily need to call it to put each other in such corners, such holes.
Yeah.
We can know that the truth of America is that we all are a blend of all these things, and that no one has a certain squared off opinion of anything. That, there's a lot of things affecting us. So that's my question: is, do you think a post-label America is a possibility?
It could be a possibility, and I feel like Kamala is definitely the person to get it rolling. The alternative definitely will not get that rolling, and probably set us further back than where we are now. But with Kamala being of Indian descent and African American descent, regardless of whatever somebody else tries to put on her, whether she just figured out she was black, whatever. I feel like
I don't know what
having that type of energy in the White House could, if they actually do some good for the country, they could start to bring all of us back in to where we should have been before we ever got to this point.
Yeah.
It's a good point that you said exactly how you said it. It's rare, but it's real now. It's basically almost a good versus evil type thing. And I don't really want to put that shit on nobody, but like you said, the other option, it's a fucked up option. Now, I'm all team Kamala as of now. I will go ahead and give my endorsement. You know what I mean? Because 45 just a fucking evil fuck, man. The shit that he does, says,
things, and what he's planning to do,
and what, like the Project 2025 shit. Like, are you fuckers really ignoring that shit?
Don't forget, he wants to take away that you don't have to ever vote again.
Oh yeah, did y'all not hear that?
Don't worry.
Vote for me, you'll never have to vote again. What's that supposed to mean?
Kamala decided to turn black, and he has such a great way of just stepping in some shit with the dumbest shit he says. But also, the silver lining of that is that, yeah, she's black, she's Indian. She's just like the rest of us. We're not one thing. None of us are one thing.
And America was never built on us.
This country ain't about being one thing.
This is the world's mixing bowl. It's where everybody can come and be what you want to be in the land of the free. That's how it's supposed to be. And it seems like, for whatever reason, they don't.
He'd love it to be white, that we're all, and but very few are just pure English European white.
Right.
And maybe the Trumps are. And yeah.
But
hold on, and let me say this too. Let me say this.
America
don't take this as, this is not a 45 bashing podcast.
No.
This ain't even a bashing Republican podcast. Like I say, my local politics, anybody who know me know my shit is all over the place.
It's about truth.
It's about truth. It just so happens in common fucking sense. It just so happens presidential, I normally go Democrat. But come on, man, this dude is a fucking piece of shit.
Right.
He doesn't represent politics or America.
He doesn't represent America, not our America, not my America.
Not a future, it's worth of shit.
Like, when I was raised, I was taught to hate people like him that would swindle you, con you, take you for everything, not pay you for your work. Like, I never would value somebody like that. Like,
every American value, he said.
Right. Like,
yeah, and somehow he's force fed them a shit pie and told them it was chocolate, and they're loving it.
And everybody wanted extra slices of that shit.
His stuff from like the 90s.
Come on, dude.
He admitted to not believing women should work. Women should have, a meal for him when he gets home. He talked very terribly about Indian casinos. I mean, this shit was what he was talking about.
Central Park 5. We want
Central Park 5.
Even after they were proven.
damn ad in the paper on them.
Yeah.
Fucking
After they were proven this.
After they're acquitted. After they're Oh.
I just don't know. I mean,
And what's loyalty to this man? What's that get you? What has that gotten anyone? Show one person that's done well.
right,
At the end of the day, you're disposable. This is a power hungry.
right, yeah.
Like you said, man, this is not an attack on this man for being his right wing or any of that shit. This is an attack on this man because of his deeds. If it was, we Democrats have dirt. There's that Menendez, like
Right.
we have our dirty guys too. And I say, if he did all that shit, then that man needs to pay and get out of our party. But the difference is the Republicans don't say get out of our party. They say rise him up and follow him like a king.
Right.
And it's lines up with every cult. Jim Jones. I'm sorry.
It does.
It feels extreme to say it, but we're in extreme times. They're following a man blindly.
But I want to put in this plug again that, the first bumper sticker I had in my first car was, the world is run by those who show up. The people who are running for office are the extremists. So if they're showing up to run for office and get elected, we can't be mad at them if we haven't put forward our own candidate. So we need to be supporting our local candidates. And if we don't have local candidates, we need to be running ourselves or being more like obsessive about talking to our friends and family that we know would be good leaders for our cities. We need good city council members. That's how we should create the next president.
Local matters.
You start city council, you then move up to a state level, then you go up. That's how you gain the knowledge and the expertise to become president, and learning how to work across the aisle at the local level. I say city council is the most important job to all of us at the basic level.
Run for local office. If you care, there you go. There's your...
And if you're totally I cannot run for office, that would be that's so without, I'm not a people person, I can't talk in public, then work your ass off for somebody that's going to fight for you, and
at least go vote for their ass.
Right, and then vote. City council races are 2.3% voter turnout. Luckily now they've been, when they used to be in May, and now they're in November. We got it changed. Luckily, the state of Virginia allowed for local races to be in November with the rest of the ballot. But when we had voting in May, we had 2.3% voter turnout once. 1.7 voter turnout in Waynesboro City.
People will be amazed by how little the population actually votes.
That is fucking insane.
And how easily you could win if you did.
That's how many votes? Yeah, how many votes did...
50 votes decided this shit, dude.
Less than that.
Yours was decided by
35
what?
votes.
35 votes.
Damn. So people have to stop feeling like it doesn't matter and that their vote doesn't count, because it absolutely does. And we've all seen the meme on Facebook. If your vote didn't count, they wouldn't be working so hard to take it away from you.
Yeah.
So
Yep, it's just all true.
We might not have the millions and billions of dollars to contribute to these candidates, but we can vote.
If you care, stay involved. Yep.
And vote for the Republican. As a Democrat, as a proud Democrat, if the Republican candidate is more aligns with your views, then vote. Just vote.
And that's where we're back on the labeling. Maybe we can find a way to where labeling you as a Democrat or Republican, you pay more attention to what touches you personally and what touches your friends, neighbors, and family personally.
And stop voting along party lines when it doesn't benefit you.
Yeah, right.
Just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you have to vote down the ticket Republican.
The label has overtaken the cause.
Right.
And now it's just me against you. And that doesn't work in a society that works like ours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like for me, I can't picture myself not voting for somebody that in my heart, when I hear what they got to say versus the other guy, what they had to say, I can't, it's just real hard for me to do that. So I was never really able to pick a party and say, this is what I'm going to do. It's just, life is more complicated than that shit.
Right.
The wealth divide is what gets me now.
Right.
No
I
matter
done been broke and I done had
no matter who
dope.
we're voting for, that person is a multimillionaire. And I need that to change. I need it to where the lobbying and the money's out of it, where these men don't think they're going to get rich by doing this. You'll have a lot fewer of them going out for the job. I'm going to guarantee you that.
Right.
If it was just a public servant job.
Right. And term limits.
And term limits. Term limits are, oh my God, term limits. Sorry, Mitch McConnell. Or any of the old, even Nancy Pelosi, I'll go and take a bipartisan view with that.
Sure.
If you are over 70, you are not serving America anymore. I'm sure you have wisdom, and and you have a place. But what I'm saying is the world moves fast now. The world moves very fast now, and I don't want to be ageist about it, but yeah, the world moves very fast now. That's all I know about it, and we should
I mean,
but that's more labeling.
I don't know.
So that works more towards the negative against my post labeling question. Is I guess I don't know where I stand. I hope we can have a post label.
It just proves how complicated it is.
It's very complicated thing, and it's embedded. American culture, we like to name stuff. We like to give something a nickname. That's what Trump is so good at. I mean, I use the same nicknames he gives. I like Sleepy Joe, and I love Joe Biden. And I'm like, old Sleepy Joe. It's because the man's good at giving somebody a nickname.
It works. He is good at that.
It works.
He's a good bully.
Because America likes that kind of. We like that kind of shit,
right?
And that's what we like to give it. We like to give shit, and it's sickness or not.
We've just got to figure out a way to bring us all together to, shit on somebody else.
Yeah, right. Well, 9/11 did that.
Yeah,
9/11 brought us together.
Well,
Unfortunately, it's tragedies that bring us together.
I hate to say it, and I feel like it'd take another 9/11 type event to bring us back to where
Absolutely, I think
should be. That's horrible to say.
It's
but
horrible
it's
to
the
say.
reality of it.
We saw a lot of racism after 9/11 that was really, obviously horrible. So
absolutely horrible, and we still live with that. It's
targeting
embedded
every brown person. So
it's embedded at this point too, a little bit in our older generations, especially.
Say something.
Young people, not so much. Older people.
But yeah, I mean, I think going back to the younger generation, I think we were talking earlier before we were recording about the younger generation now growing up with the not gender label, and being more fluid in their gender identity and their sexuality and just being more open to that. And freaking love seeing that. And I'm really jealous that I didn't get to grow up that way in such an environment of freedom and
I'm jealous
openness.
I'm jealous of it too.
You just wonder how different life would be if everyone, you think of these really homophobic, transphobic folks, if they got to grow up in a society where it was just so open and normal, they just wouldn't have that hate because they would be like, yeah, it's just
Yeah, I don't know if I'm an older American, so I took in health the whole whether it was nature or nurture in our genders. I don't know if y'all remember that.
Yeah.
Whether we're being taught to be boys and girls, such as wearing pink for girls, and the way we're given what they do, male toys and
Matchbox cars for the boys and Barbies for the girls.
And if that's something natural, or is that something that mankind has just kind of started doing?
Right.
It's an age-old debate, is my point, and that maybe, I'm sure the way things move and ebb and flow and grow, that man definitely naturally would be going to a place where, gender's aggravating. It causes a lot of us a lot of trouble. Male and female interactions and trying to place, it causes a lot of trouble. It would be a lot better if we just didn't have to think about that if it wasn't a thing.
Right.
But I mean, it's scary for a lot of people that for some reason they like to really just want to define the shit out of you and know exactly
it ain't even the one to define you. Here's the thing about America. And I haven't been a lot of fucking places, but I've been around a lot of people. America is afraid of what they don't understand.
Yeah, for
sure. Or overstand.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Unaccepting to try to learn it is my question. Like
I said,
we were found on
that word afraid
principles and all that shit.
My question is, if it doesn't involve you, if it doesn't affect you, why are you worried about it?
To begin with.
Why are you worried about what somebody else is doing in their own free time that does not affect you? or anybody else around you. And if you could say, well, we don't want our kids to see it. Well, your kids are going to see what they want to see now anyway.
Right.
I mean, they have more access to information
Yeah, so your
in
kid don't have the internet,
2024
is what I'm
Right.
saying.
than we ever have
Yeah.
in the history of America. Like, plain and simple. Whatever you think your kid hasn't seen, they've seen it 10 times over and twice this morning.
And way better than we saw that shit.
Exactly.
And way better than we
And
saw.
I can guarantee you, and I can guarantee you, and it probably done half of it.
Yeah.
But it's all right there in their pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Right there. I'd be a whole different man if I had grown up as a child with that.
Yeah.
Boy.
Because I was already in the shit.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
If I'd had that, Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be sitting here having this podcast right now.
Right.
Unless we was doing it from live from Rikers.
Russell and Rikers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think that the youth ultimately decides what happens next, and they're telling us, and the older generations, and even it's like I said, as a parent of a trans child, I'm liberal. I'm supportive. I'm down for it. Whatever my child wants to be, I just want them to be loved. I want them to find love, be happy. But I can't say it wasn't a challenge as a 52-year-old Generation X to come to grips with, what my child was telling me.
Right.
And learning to flow with that, and maybe knocking down some things that have been put into my psyche
Right.
that I didn't even know were there.
Right.
It's a scary process. It's a weird process. It takes some real self looking in and seeing how you're made, and ultimately when it comes out to it, you just want your kids happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want them to be, like I said,
And not bothering
find
nobody.
love, and they ain't bothering nobody, and they're wonderful, and they're so intelligent, and they're funny, they're everything I'd ever want them to be.
Right.
And honestly, who they love in their sexual life is none of my damn business.
At all.
Like, they don't come into my bedroom, and I never would go into theirs.
Right.
And I
No
don't
doubt.
want to know, really.
Right.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what gender it is. Don't care.
Yeah.
And and another point is that there are also different views of that. Is that I'm a child whose daughter decided knew she was born a boy, felt like she was a boy, felt it was wrong, and finally got brave enough to tell me. And then we haven't looked back. I can't, I don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
For the children whose sons turn to girls, I have so much more compassion, because that is the fight. That's the fight. My child is a tomboy.
Yeah.
And has always been around, is on the
Yeah.
softball team, and is chill, and it really hasn't been a focus, a target.
That's deep.
But that
That's
other
deep
parent,
right there.
man, that's who I'm
100%.
fighting for. I don't fight for my child so much because he does great. He runs shit. He's a baller in every way. But
It's really
man,
interesting.
my best friend has a child who was born a boy and is now a female, and that is a whole different fight.
Wow.
And that's the one that they're all thinking
Yeah,
about when they
right.
when that hate.
Yeah.
Just be real about it.
Yeah.
That's the one that scares them,
Yeah.
because they don't want to go on that golf tournament and get drunk and end up fucking up.
Yeah, because I mean,
I had to put some humor in on this. I got a little too heavy, but yeah, dude, they scared. They scared of something in them.
Yeah.
They scared of something, but it's like,
But
if it ain't in your world, why you worried about it?
What was so refreshing? So the Foundry had drag brunch a couple months ago.
So brave of this, so awesome, dude.
And I went, and it was amazing. And it was so diverse. Like, everybody was there in all different kinds of outfits and backgrounds. And it was just a beautiful place. And to think that was happening on a Sunday afternoon in Waynesboro. And, like, I go home and I water my garden. I was like, that gay agenda really got me.
And
And I'm home watering my garden.
A lot of the drag community's not even gay. They don't even understand the dynamics. Is that it's just, when you say gay, dude, there are so many different
Right.
fractions and corners and things and world, and it's really too much for somebody to understand.
Right.
And that drag thing is just a whole nother.
So the next
why does
one,
it scare y'all?
The next one is at the end of this month, so they're doing it every other month. So we all should go.
Yeah, so
I'll
great.
be down with
Foundry's
that.
a good place, man.
It's
I'd be down
such
with
a
that.
good time. Like, but that's the thing. Like, to just thinking about
How dare
know.
people have fun? how dare they get together and have a place that you just described it as like the funnest, but how dare they?
Well, and so
I only got one rule.
Going
If my
to,
weed can come.
Yeah, that's right.
Man. You know what I'm saying?
like judging people. So like I'm sitting there with my friends and I see these people come in and they're dressed, in like khaki shorts and like a button-up shirt, two guys, and I'm like, oh, they're here to like harass everybody. No, they were there to enjoy themselves. Like it was so easy to like like you were almost looking for somebody to come in and hate you and like cause a disturbance, do something.
Hey, we know
but
we're
it
afraid
wasn't.
they do that because we are in a world where someone could come and.
Yeah, right.
I mean, but you know, that's true too. But you was there in high school when you put that whooping on that Fat boy name. If you listening, we'll whoop your ass. You doing the wrong shit, and he beat your ass in front of the whole school. He whooped the shit out of you. All right. Hey, move on. So
yeah, man.
Anyway,
I'm not asking anyone to have feel any different or do anything. It's just let's let people live. That's all it comes down to it. It's just leave my kids alone, man. Just let them be the people they want to be in this world, and they'll guarantee they're going to leave you alone.
Right.
They don't want nothing to do with what you think or do. Because I raise them to stay out of people's business.
Word. As everybody should look. Now that shit, you see something, say something. Okay, because if you see something that's gonna bother you that much to say the fuck something, it's probably something you should say it to. But even then, think about who the fuck you saying it to.
Like you only get involved if like you see a kid running on a like out in the street. Like intervene. But other than that, like
there you go.
Mind your fucking business though.
Real safe.
Mind your fucking business.
The moral of the story is, if it ain't hurting you or anybody else, mind your motherfucking goddamn business.
Period.
That's all you got to do.
Everybody's hiding something freaky.
And the ones screaming the loudest that they don't like it is the ones that love it.
Oh, they definitely love it.
Too wide while you're looking.
No doubt. All right, welcome back to the Pot and Politics podcast. I am your host, Sean G's. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up today. I would like to say a very special thank you again to our sponsor, Embracing Fire Designs in Harrisonburg, Virginia. They do great work. Go and check Kiki out. Also, like I said, the holiday special is it's really a special strain. One of the best I've smoked all year. I got to be honest about that. It just don't happen much where I get real high off of one spliff. And yeah, I'm still high like I was high from the beginning of the show. With that being said, that's some good ass weed. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and change my shit from the 9 to like a 9.7. I can't give it a 10, but I'm giving that shit a 9.7. Okay. And with that, anybody else got anything else to say? No. Okay. All right, so we're gonna tell you, look out for our roach clips. Everybody's gonna start busting them down. And we'll see y'all next week. I'm gonna tell y'all about it. Peace.